Josh, great to see you. I'm going to fire some questions at you today. I know you're getting over your plantar fascia injury and you're now facing Teo Lopez. Just a very quick word on that. Will you face Jack Catterall down the line, and what are you going to do to Teo Lopez when you meet him in the summer?
Yes, I don't think that fight with Catterall is going to go anywhere. It just obviously can't happen right now. So it's going to have to be put on hold. I can definitely fight him down in the future somewhere.
And Teofimo Lopez is one that kind of ignites you, gets fire under you?
Yeah, I mean, he's been running his mouth off for a couple of years now about me, him and his dad. So maybe
He's also said some nice things about you, Josh, as well.
Maybe I can get the two of them in the ring at the same time and fight them. That would be.
I think you should get your dad in against his dad.
Yeah, he's his dad. That would be a good fight.
Oh, wouldn't that just? Wouldn't that just?
Yeah, two together would be brilliant. But yeah, I think it's a great fight with Teofimo Lopez, and he's a come forward, aggressive fighter, you know, and he punches and punches well together. So I think the two styles are going to just ignite, and I think it's going to be a great fight.
Let me ask you about a few other things. We know that might take place in the summer, and we know that the Catterall fight's off. But your feeling, in short, is that Ben Shalom, his promoter, should have waited for you to get fit for you and Catterall to get in the ring.
I think Ben Shalom, as soon as they heard the news, went away and focused on getting it rescheduled, getting it nailed in, and getting a date sorted. And then there would have been no questions of it happening, you know. Instead, he's went, oh, I'm going to have to go and get Jack a fight, and went away and got him a fight against nobody knows who it's going to be. And yeah, it's slipped away, and it's purely down to him and his team. That's nothing to do with me. It's purely down to Ben Shalom's fault. He's actually done his disservice to his fighter.
Let me ask you about a few other things. It's garnering a lot of headlines, but Jake Paul and Tommy Fury next weekend. Let me just ask you straight, you're going to be watching it?
I probably will watch this one, to be fair. Yeah, I definitely will watch it. You know,
why do we want to watch it? Why do we want to watch it?
I think it's just because there's been so much talk about it. There's been so much hype around the fight for a long time. And it's actually now, like at the start, I was kind of like, right, Tommy Fury is surely going to do him in. But the more I've been watching, and the more I've been watching a little bit of Jake Paul, actually, you've got to take hats off. You've got to give kudos to people when it's due. You know, he's worked hard. He's worked real hard. He's hired good coaches. He's improved a hell of a lot, to be fair. I mean, he's still not great, but he's improved a hell of a lot, and it's now actually a really interesting fight. And I said this in a couple of other interviews. I actually really think that I'm sort of edging towards Jake Paul, actually.
It's weird, isn't it? It's weird, isn't it? Because there's so much pressure on Tommy. Tommy can prove a lot in this about his mentality, actually. He's got an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, Tommy has put a lot of pressure on himself with the things he's been saying as well. And obviously, the whole boxing fraternity are like expecting him to do a number on him. So he's got a little bit of pressure on him, but it'll be interesting to see how he deals with it.
Do you think just becoming a father is likely to help him or hinder him?
I don't know, because I'm not a father yet, so I'm not too sure. But I reckon if it was me, I reckon it would give me more fire in the belly to keep putting food on the table for my family.
So you're edging towards Jake Paul. Don't go in the vicinity of John Fury anytime soon, then, yeah?
Yeah, that's another thing I've done.
Can I get your take as well on AJ, Anthony Joshua? A lot of people have been very critical of the fact that he's facing Jermaine Franklin, but he's had 12 world title fights in a row. Yes, he's lost a couple of them, or 3 of them out of 12. Is there a time in a fighter's career when he deserves, not a gimme, because Franklin's performed fairly well against Dillian White last November, if you recall. Is the criticism of Anthony Joshua unfair in your view?
I mean, it's not a great fight, really, but Joshua wants to win another world title, so it's not a great level of opponent, but like you've just said, he's coming off the back of 2 losses to Alexander Usyk, one of the greatest fighters going about at the minute. So it's another sort of build me up case, isn't it? It's another sort of build his confidence, get his eye back in, and after he gets rid of him, onto chasing the titles and stuff again. So no, I don't criticise Josh for it. I don't criticise Josh for that at all. I think that he's building himself back up. He's getting back to the building blocks, and then gets this one out of the way and then tries to push for a title again.
Just following on from that, final question: do we need to be careful, not including Jake Paul and Tommy Fury, which I count almost as a real fight? Oh, actually, I need to ask you: should Jake Paul get a WBC ranking after this?
Definitely not. No, definitely not.
That's a weird one, isn't it?
Tommy Fury's a novice pro. He's not boxed any caliber opponents. So how can you get a WBC ranking for fighting someone like that? You know, that's ridiculous. You know, I think that's just purely the WBC doing that because of who Jake Paul is and the sort of influence that he's got. I think that's ridiculous.
Well, the amount of money he can generate.
Yeah, well, that's
I'm being honest. It's not about the money; it's about the money.
Yeah, I think that's what it is, and I think it's just ridiculous that the WBC are going out and doing that. You've got fighters out there that are busting their guts out, taking these fights and dangerous fights, and having final eliminators and this and that to get a WBC ranking, fighting for the WBC silver belts to get a WBC ranking and all that kind of stuff, building yourself up. He just comes in and fights bang. If you beat a novice in Tommy, you're a world ranked fighter now. It's ridiculous. It's terrible.
And keeping on that theme, do we have to be careful about the influencers and the YouTubers having hijacked boxing as their platform to perform? It looks like boxing all the way, and the crowd's in early. It's bringing big numbers. KSI against FaZe Temper a few weeks ago did 300,000 pay-per-view buys on DAZN. Do we have to be careful about where that sits within boxing, and are there any benefits from it?
The only benefit I can see is that it's bringing numbers to the sport of boxing, but really it's not boxing because they're acting like complete clowns. They're acting like jumping about, attacking each other on stage and shouting at each other and being vulgar to each other, and it's just the way they're acting.
You never do that, Josh, do you?
No, yeah, but it's just like the way they're acting, the way the persona is. It's what boxing isn't about.
Yeah,
you know, boxing's about respect and challenging your opponent and challenging and testing your skills of each other. You know what I mean? And playing a physical game of chess. And this is just like, it's almost like the WWF or the WWE or whatever it is, the way they act. But having said that, they're doing well. They're making a lot of money, which is fair enough. They're bringing entertainment to people that are not maybe necessarily interested in boxing, but may have their interest in it now after watching this. These guys that maybe have fans from completely different backgrounds or whatever as they do YouTube or whatever, or I don't know what as they do, I'm not interested, or celebrities, they fans that are watching them, they might have taken interest in boxing a little bit more. But that's the only positive thing I can see of it. The rest of it, I think, it's more like you said, it's more like white collar exhibition boxing. Yeah. But the fact that the boxing promoters and that are backing it, it's quite I don't know how to put it. I don't know how to put it. It's quite,
we have to carefully watch it. I mean, I've been involved in a couple of Misfits events with Talk Sport, and it's actually quite interesting to speak to the young people in that group. And they're quite interesting as a group of people. But like you say, you said it yourself, we have to keep labeling it as white collar celebrity boxing. That is what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is. And that's exactly what it is. It's white collar sort of celebrity boxing. That's what it is. It's not actual boxing. It's the skill sets of these guys, performance of them.
My thing is a little bit of it should be siphoned off to help the amateur clubs and all of that kind of stuff. If it's possible to do it, that it engenders.
They're doing well. They're making money. They're getting interested in boxing. If some of these people's and fans base that they've got, they're
start training and all of that kind of stuff, that's great.
Yeah, that's a
and
good
they
thing.
are, and they are.
Yeah, so that's a good thing for the sport in that way. Yeah.